Hi guys, today I'll be talking about two things. Firstly, it will be about a group of people that I have thought through some of the learning needs that we should take into consideration when coaching them. And secondly, on some coaching techniques to allow for our clients to have an enhanced learning experience. We will now talk about the first part. Firstly, the group that I will be discussing about will be those that have prosthetic legs. When thinking about how to help people such as them, let's use a scenario to help us visualize better. Our client that we'll be helping is someone that used to play a certain sport. However, due to unforeseen circumstances, they may have lost one of their legs in which is now replaced by a prosthetic leg. The client will not be familiar with walking or even running on the prosthetic leg. As such, the client will need to do some training in order to go back to playing sports. Therefore, our training schedule will be an implementation of exercises that will allow for them to feel like they didn't even lose their legs. We will also want to look at our client's mental health. Losing a part of your body for the rest of their life is not something that everyone can accept so easily. Our plan would be to help them get back on their feet and give them the boost that they need to continue on with life. When coming up with a game for these type of people, we will have to take into consideration that they are not used to running with their new leg. As such, we will make the game easier to adjust to. For example, if we are dealing with a client that is a tennis player, we can make it easier by making the court smaller, so that they will not have to run as much and allowing them to adjust the legs. We will have also be allowing them to have more breaks so that they don't push themselves too hard as it is something new to them. If given another scenario where our client has little to no sports experience, the above will still be applied, but an easier sport will be used. For this scenario, as a coach, I would want them to be able to play captain's ball as it is one of the best sports for beginner students and is also pretty easy to pick up. Well, we will make the court smaller and change the ball to a soft foam ball so that it will be easier for them to catch. The flooring of the venue will be one that is not so easy to slip on so that they are protected at all times. Our instructions that we will give will also be very clear and concise with demonstrations so that they will know what to do during the game itself. Well, since these are people with a lost limb, they may be bumped out about having one or two less legs. Well, during this whole program, we still want to encourage them more by giving them some positive reinforcement. With the constant encouragement, it will serve as a moral booster as well. This will allow for the clients to gain some confidence while having fun at the same time. The objective for this will be to allow for our clients to be able to play sports that they may come to love or already love, even though they may have a disability. We also want them to not feel discriminated even though they may have lost a leg, which could be kind of a big deal for some people. For the second part, I want to talk about some coaching techniques that will allow for my client to have enhanced learning. So, the coaching technique that I want to use would be that we have an effective goal setting in which I will set out a goal for which I want my client to be able to achieve within a certain time period. This will allow for there to be discipline with me and my client in order to reach this goal. Well, in order for us to do this efficiently, I will have to come up with an effective training program that will help us to reach our goal as efficiently as possible. Looking at the YouTube video given, the objective of this drill is to get more agility even though the person has a prosthetic leg. And the drill that is done is very efficient in making this go through. The drill has very simple setup with only 3 cones which can be easily replaced with 3 random objects. Thus, this drill can be done anywhere and anytime. The key factor of this drill will also be that the client would change up their movement whenever they move from one cone to another, be it a side step or a backtrack, as this will allow for them to get used to different movements with their prosthetic leg. Well, in order to get an indication, when they feel that they are moving faster every time they are moving from one cone to another, it can be seen as an indication that getting used to the movements, which is also in turn meaning they have increased agility when walking around or running around with their prosthetic legs. So, when looking at how this drill is set up, we'll know that it's actually a very simple drill, which goes to show that simple drills such as this show that when it comes to training, an exercise does not have to be very complex in order for it to be efficient. During training sessions also, in order to enhance my client's learning service, I will also be providing feedback to my clients with both positive and negative feedback. Looking at the positive feedback, it will serve as a benchmark for what my client is supposed to do. This will also boost their morale, knowing that their movements are correct. On the other hand, the negative feedback will allow my client to know that what he or she can do to improve on so that future lessons will be more efficient. In turn, it will also allow for them to correct their mistakes. To me, feedbacks in general are essential in helping for the client to grow as they absorb the information given to them every time we do a different exercise, be it a simple or difficult drill. If a certain exercise is done wrongly, it could lead to an injury, which is what we want to prevent all times as coaches, making feedback a valuable coaching technique so that our client is safe at all times. With this in mind, I'm hoped to be able to become a great coach.